Well, hello there, Dukely here, and today I'm looking at a board game. Not just any board game, possibly my favorite board game of all time, The Hunters. Make sure that's on the screen. So yeah, I've been inspired to do some more board game videos after watching a few people I like, Single-Handed Warfare and Big Board Gaming. Big Board Gaming, I think that's the name of his YouTube channel. Anyway, they're really cool, and they've inspired me to do more board game stuff, and well, I'm going to. So first I'm going to move the camera and you can see all the shit that's in the box, and then I'll try and explain to you how the game works. I'm not very good at explaining stuff, but we'll see how it goes. So here we go, to the box. So there's the lid. It's a lid. Everyone's seen the lid before. Lids are boring. Okay. Manual. It is not counting the, like, extra stuff at the end, like 18 pages or so. And then you've got a whole bunch of charts here. They're all double-sided. So this is encounters. This is assignment here. And then you've got aircraft and just some other encounters. This is your torpedo chart here. You can tell if you've hit stuff or not. And if it's actually done any damage, if your torpedo's a dud. This is escort detection, air attack, U-boat damage. Over here is what kind of damage you've taken. So we'll look at all these things later in more detail. And here's the U-boat combat mat. Sorry, this is totally my first time making this kind of video, so we'll see how it comes out. It might be garbage. It all looks really small to me, but it might be readable. Anyway, it's got all this stuff here and your targets, and we'll get to it. We'll get to that. And then here is two double-sided sheets. Oh, okay, well, there's one double-sided sheet of ships that you can encounter, and some more there. And then this also has a random events table on the back. And then finally, we've got the boats themselves, the U-boats themselves. There's several boats. These are all double-sided. You've got a Type 1X, Type 1X, Type 1XC, Type 1XA, Type 7B, and the Type 7D. Type 7C flak, Type 7C, Type 1XB, and Type 7A. So there you go. That's the A's. These are some charts. These are from previous games that I played. You also get the log sheet here. So there's the log sheet. Oops, I'm moving the camera now. And here's some from like a completed game I've played where I got sunk there. And again, another completed sheet. You can see I've not gotten very far. It's a hard game. Okay. And finally, I put these into a counter tray just to make it easier. Ooh, that's a little bit shiny. Anyway, you've got some torpedoes here, mines. These are boats, rankings, upgrades, specific types of boats, escort planes. These are damage counters here in the corner. This is, what is this? Random bits and bobs for the combat map. Crew damage and killed markers. More crew with like experience levels. And U-boats here, and this is more random stuff, and then Knight's Crosses here. Right, so let me try and show you a game. So let me set one up here really quick. Okay, so we're going to do the easiest start, which is 1939 with the Type 7A boat, which is here. And here's our log sheet. So firstly, we're going to look at this. This is on page 20 of the rulebook. It actually gives you numbers for the type of U-boat that you're playing. So we're using the Type 7A. So we can see that they use numbers U27 through U36. You will need a writing stick. The game does not come with a writing stick. So we're going to put our U-boat type as a 7A. Pardon my horrendous handwriting. And we'll make our ID U31. And then, next, we need a name for our commander. We will be Commander Schultz of the Navy of the Third Reich, or whatever the hell it's called. And nextly, we will get that out of the way and come over here and have a look at our boat itself. Now, my pencil's rolling off the table. We will start with our ammo for our deck gun. As you can see, maybe, it says 10 there for our deck gun ammunition, so we'll take 2, 4, 6, 8, and a 10. 5 of these ammo markers total. That'll go right there. And we have our torpedo load of 11 up here. It says very small. G7A 6 and G7E 5, and we may adjust the mix by 1. G7As are gas, right? I think it means gas. Steam, it means steam. And the other ones are electric. And the electric ones are kind of shittier. In some circumstances, they're better. So anyway, we're going to take our initial load of 11, and we're going to fill our forward torpedo tubes with 4 steam torpedoes here. There we are. And 5 will be in our aft torpedo tube. We don't get a reload in our aft torpedo tube, so once it's shot out, we're done with it. And we have to go back to port to replace it. So then we'll have, finally, our 6 steam torpedo will be there. And instead of taking 5 electric torpedoes, I'm allowed to adjust the mix by 1. So we'll be taking 7 steam torpedoes total. And then the other 4 will be electric. And those will go down here in the electric torpedo box. Just there. If I can get it out of the container. Okay. And now we need a marker for our hull damage, which hopefully we won't be using. And you're just going to put that here off to the side. And then we need, it's in here somewhere, the flooding marker, which we also hopefully will not actually need. And finally, on the top there, it says rank, medal, and awards. So we don't have any medals or awards when we start. And we start the game as a lowly, what's it called? Oberleutnant zur See, which will be our rank. There's a tiny ass 1 on that screen. Oh. There we go. There's a tiny 1 on that little marker. And then our crew quality is in the top left. And I think we start with a trained crew, if I'm not mistaken, for the 1939. And there you go. That's our setup for the... Well, no, it's not quite there, actually. I lied. We need the marker, which I'm going to rifle through this box to find. And finally, we'll take our marker, and that will go down here in the import refit box. And then once we get our patrol, we'll use this box over here. So next, let's use our first chart, and we'll have a roll and see where we end up. Okay, so here we are on the patrol sheet, which says where we're going to be patrolling. And it says roll 2d6, which are included in the game. And we've rolled them. We've got a 7, very common. We can see here we're in 1939, the starting year, so our British Isles will be our first location that we'll be patrolling today, or this month rather. Then we're going to place our marker on the British Isles here in transit for Bay of Biscay, and we'll just kind of slide that off to the side here. And next we'll look at the encounter chart here. So if we have a look, so here we go. You can see that we roll on this counter chart, we roll 2d6 yet again. We're down here in the Bay of Biscay, so we'll be rolling 2 dice again. Where'd the other one go? It's It's up here. So that's a 6. Bay of Biscay. A 6 is nothing. So we can safely move into transit from the Bay of Biscay. We'll come back over here and right. So we're here on transit on the encounter table. So unless we roll a 3 or less, we'll most likely encounter nothing. We may encounter a ship at 12. We've rolled a 4, so nothing happens. So finally we move over to British Isles. Now that we are safely in British Isles, we'll roll again. We've rolled a 7. A 7 is nothing. So again, we'll scoot our little marker. I'll just bring him into view here to British Isles. And we're going to roll again. We've got a 5. In British Isles, it is a ship. We've encountered a ship. Now, the exciting part of the game begins. So again, apologies if this is hard to read here on the little sheet. It does list what we need to do. So, I'm just going to shimmy this down a bit so it's a little maybe better to see. Roll a 1 through, roll 1d6 to determine if it's day or night. It is night. That's fantastic. If it weren't night, you could roll again to try and wait and see if it was day, which is down here. But we got it night, so that's lucky, because at night you can attack on the surface and you will not be seen. So here it says day-night. We're going to put the night marker down. Now, determine ship size. So, firstly, we'll need to roll a d6. We've got a 6. A 6 is a tanker. So now we'll look at the chart for tanker. Tanker target roster, you can see here. I'm just going to shimmy it onto the page. Or into view, rather. Now you're going to roll your 2d10s. A 90. So, we'll have a look at the number 90 ship here. Which is... sorry. The number 90 ship is, this one, 9,000. 9,000 tons. It is the Salinus. The Salinus. Next, you'll come over here onto your log sheet. And here where it says September 39, we'll write British Isles are targets number 90 / 9,000. That's how many tons it is. And the number, so if it is sunk, we know that if we roll it again on the chart, to roll again. Move that out of the way. Here we are in the night. We're going to choose our, now you could roll again if you wanted to see if it, if you want to try to make it day, or switch to night if it was day, or whatever. But we don't need to do that because it's already night, so we'll select a range. It's night. It's a single ship by itself with no escort. We're going to go close range. So we're going to put our range marker here, close range. And finally, select if submerged or surfaced. We're going to be surfaced, as it will give us a bonus for attacking. So we'll put our marker there. Now, we get to assign torpedoes to the ship to attack. Now, if you remember, over here on our chart, we have 4 torpedoes, and we also have our deck gun. We can use the torpedoes, and then if the torpedoes don't hit, we can use the deck gun, or we can use the deck gun, and if none of those shots hit, we can use the torpedoes. This is only available to us because we're surfaced, and it's a single ship at night. So, we're going to do torpedoes just because it's more interesting. So I'm going to do 2 torpedoes. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? So our target 1, we're going to put tanker here, target 1. And now we'll assign 2 torpedoes. You know what? It's a big ship. We're going to assign 4 torpedoes. There we go. To our tanker. And now we're going to fire our torpedoes. So we need our chart. So this chart on the top has U-boat torpedo / deck gun fire chart. We're going to roll 2d6. We've rolled 5, 6, 7, 8. We're at close range. We're 8 or less. Plus we have a... and we have a -1 modifier to our die roll for it being night. or unescorted surface torpedo. It is both of those, but you only get the -1, so technically we've rolled a 7. So we've hit, of course. Now we go to the torpedo dud chart. We roll 1d6, a 4. So, 1939, a 1 to a 2 and a steam torpedo is a dud. Luckily, this one's not a dud. Now, finally we come to the attack damage chart. We're going to roll 1d6. We've rolled a 3. That's 2 damage. So now we'll go back here. We'll have a look at this again. So now we're back here, and we fired 1 torpedo, so we'll take that off. We dealt 2 damage, which would be enough to sink a small freighter. This is a tanker, so it has to take 4 damage before it will sink. Now we simply repeat the process. So, for our next torpedo, we'll repeat the process of rolling the dice. To see if we hit, we've rolled 12s. That's going to be a miss, so that torpedo is out of there. This time I've rolled an 8 with our modifier of surfaced attack. That's going to be a 7, so that's another hit. Now we'll roll to see if it's a dud. It is a dud, so that's a wasted torpedo again. We roll again. That's also going to miss. We fired 4 torpedoes at that tanker, and they all missed. Now, because we have the chance of a second salvo because it's a ship by itself, we're going to fire our deck guns. They work the same as the torpedoes. I'm going to go ahead and commit 4 rounds to the ship. And now we'll roll in the same way. They do less damage if they hit than the torpedoes would. But it's still the same at the beginning. There we go. Snake eyes. So that's going to be a hit. Deck gun will almost always do 2 damage unless you roll a 1. It will always do 1 damage unless you roll a 1, then it will do 2. So that's 4. That's 1 damage. So we've hit. Now we flip this guy over to his one side here, and we'll roll again. That's a 8. So that's another hit. And deck gun ammunition can't ever be a dud. And a 5. That is, of course, 1 damage. So that is him sunk. Now, we saved some of our deck gun ammunition. We'll take this back over here where we've written his name down. We're going to put a check because it's a confirmed destroyed target. Next, we would go back and look at our transit table here. And you can see that we have another British Isles to go, a transit, and then back home to the Bay of Biscay. So, we'll roll again. Take a look at our chart here. Our encounter chart for British Isles. A 4 is, of course, nothing at all. So we'll move. Well, I should have moved that before. And then we go to the transit again. I rolled a 5. Again, nothing. Bay of Biscay. A 7. An 8. No, a 7. Jesus, a 7. Again, nothing. We're now in port. If we had taken damage on these systems, we would repair them now. We haven't taken any damage. That's the super basics of the game. We didn't take any damage. If we'd taken damage, I would have had a few more charts to show you, but that's basic. That is the basis of the game, rolling on charts and then seeing what happens. I'm just going to put it awkwardly like this for a moment so that I can write. So, we had 1 successful mission. We saw nothing else. So our total sunk tonnage here is 9,000 for our trip. Now the following month, we're going to put refit in the patrol box. Nothing is going to be accounted for here or here. And so just going to put a line through. And then finally, after the refit, we get to roll again to see where we're going to patrol to. After 3 successful patrols, you will roll on a chart to see if your crew gained any experience. And if I find the chart, which is here, here it is, crew chart, shimmy that down. You can get expert crew members on your crew. We didn't have any to start with. We just had basic crew members, but we could roll and get extra special guys that are tougher, doctors that are better, gunners that are better, and such things will give you bonuses on some of the various charts. We could also, after a year of sailing, become promoted here, and there's various bonuses available. So, determined promotion here. There's some descriptions. So if you've sunk, 10 ships, or if you've been awarded a Knight's Cross by the time you get to your next promotion phase, there's a very good chance to be promoted. It'll give you a bonus on the die roll. And there's various other things like that. That is the super basics of the game. So there you go. That's a quick look at the Hunters. It is my favorite game, and I play it all the time. I leave it set up on my table and just play it in my spare time or between video gaming sessions. Or if I'm playing a particularly long video game session with other people or something, I'll also be playing it over here on the side. So yeah, there's definitely a lot more to it that I didn't go over. But it's a really easy game. Low complexity. It's got all these handy charts. All the charts are everywhere. It's fairly well explained. And it's overall a fantastic game. I would suggest picking it up if you like submarines and, World War II, German stuff. It's a good game. The same company is making one called Silent Victory, which is going to be American submarines in the Pacific. So I will hopefully be getting that one soon and show you guys that one too, because that one looks really awesome. I've got many other games that I could show you. So let me know what you think of this video. Again, this is very rough. First time I've done this. The camera work's probably a bit shoddy. Yeah, so tell me what you think of this. If you want to see more board games, leave some comments down below. I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.